Hey man, welcome back to another vlog. And we had a successful drift day, man. She did well. She did really good. I still haven't unloaded. I came back from the event, drove back home, parked it, left it. Now, the track day, I mentioned towards the end of the video that I was having some slight engine issues. I could have melted potential coil pack wires. Now, I didn't really dig into it and started diagnosing, but I ended up getting some upgraded wires. We got here some Taylor Pro Series high performance wire ignition set 8mm. So we got some Taylor wires. These things are beefy. And if you compare to Taylor wire, OEM truck wire, garbage, not garbage. Aside from the coil wires, which I am going to upgrade to these, I'm going to get better spark plugs. If you notice on the car, I am missing something. What am I missing? So off camera, I ended up upgrading to 6.0 coil packs. I went to the track day with the 6.0 coil packs. They worked phenomenal, but I was borrowing the wiring harness. So I picked some up from Chevy. We're gonna have to install these, take them apart out of the plastics because the plastic doesn't fit on my mounting bracket, install these, and then after I get that out of the way, I'm gonna jack up the car and start diagnosing the bottom end because there was weird rubbing issues on the drive shaft, and I need to figure that out before anything. But let's just tackle the engine stuff, and then we'll jack the car up, check my alignment, and check the drive shaft. I made a quick trip to O'Reilly's, ended up buying some Valvoline high zinc racing oil because I'm such a nice car driver. Yeah, I bought some high zinc oil just because we're going to be in super high RPM banging on this thing. But I'm going to replace all the spark plugs. I got some iridiums this time. I don't know what I got last time, but I'm pretty sure they weren't iridiums. Got a pretty nice Wix filter and the Valvoline oil. One thing to check too, anytime you buy spark plugs, they always tell you that they're pre-gapped already. It's kind of nice to always check, have one of these. They're like $1, I think, you know. Just make sure you check all your plugs before you install them, because the last thing you want is one being off for whatever dumb reason and it's throwing the whole car off. It's just takes 2 seconds and it'll prevent a lot of headaches in the future. Check your plugs before you install them. All right, so I got a container. I cleaned it really well because all the oil that drains out, I want to inspect it, man. I want to see all the metal shavings that come out of this engine, man. That's what I want to do. So the drain plug looks okay. Just a little bit of, wear and tear from high RPM, high heat. This little silver stuff though, I'm pretty sure it's a zinc additive that I added to the oil, the last oil change that I did. I'm gonna be running Valvoline 20W50, the high zinc stuff, so I won't need the additive. This oil has it all. So this should work out a whole lot better with what, I'm doing with the car, which is beating on it. A lot of the broom brooms, brap braps, and then I put the car on a downward slope so we can get all that old crap oil out, and so we get that new freshy stuff in, man. So I removed all the old coil wires. That's fine. Now, check it out. Bring it in. Look at all that, man. That's dookie right there. Dude, these wires are toast. So this one came from the back header back here. If you run truck wires, it's always gonna end up hitting that. And then the other one, this wire right here, this one probably is the one that melts the most because it's making the most contact, because it'll sit on the header like that. So even with the sleeve and everything, it'll still melt it. What ends up happening to the sleeve, it'll turn white just because it's making that contact on the header. But 100%, this was causing my issue. They're cracked, they're brittle, they're garbage. This is probably the worst one. The good thing is the spark plugs and the spark plug wires, that was probably the issue. So now we're gonna put in some AC Delco iridium spark plugs in. We're gonna make sure that we use a dielectric grease or put in the new spark plugs, and we got the new 6.0 harness that we're gonna tuck into the ICT brackets, connect all of that, and we'll probably turn it on, go for a test drive, and see if that actually fixed the issue. So we're gonna put some anti-seize. Well, why would I put anti-seize? What was your reasoning behind that? I'm talking to you.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Why was I supposed to put anti-seize?
You're replacing them, you're looking at them, taking them off so much. So you don't want to seize up your heads, or seize them on your heads.
Okay.
It's gonna cross thread them.
There you go, man.
Taking them off and on.
By the pro himself. Is that enough anti-seize? Just a little bit?
It's just smear it with your finger.
Damn, I gotta get dirty, dude. Why you gotta do me like this, bro?
But make sure don't get it on the tip. That's, you're gonna have like a, there we go.
So this is the one time you don't want the tip moist.
Yes, the one time.
We're gonna do this to all 8. Then we're gonna just put in the spark plug wires, and I'll show you the clearances on the new Taylor wire. So super pro tip, on the passenger side, CX racing header in an E30. In order to get to this, I don't even know what cylinder number this is, but the 3rd one from the front, right? In order to get to that spark plug there, you're gonna get your spark plug socket. It's the 5/8, and then this head, it ends up being 3/4, right? Now, I took out the magnet and the internals in there just because it was a lot easier for me to slip the socket in back there, but you're gonna get it from the bottom, slip it in, and once it's on there, then you're gonna start wrenching the socket tight. I don't know of any other way to do it because you can't really fit swivels and stuff in there. And once you get it tight enough, if you have a ratcheting wrench, you can start ratcheting it on and get it on super tight. And that is one way to knock that out on that side. Over here on this side, on the driver's side, the very far back one, you can barely fit a swivel with a socket like the one on that side. If you can't, the same thing. You'll put in the 5/8 and you'll start ratcheting it with the 3/4. And that is the best way I found to get those spark plugs on the CX racing headers in the E30 chest. So we put in all the spark plugs in. We put all the anti-Cs. We torqued them down to like 2 Ooga-Doogas. I don't know what the actual torque spec is. But now, with the Taylor wires, the little 90-degree bends, putting them inside the sleeve is a little challenging. It's kind of annoying. But pretty much, I found out that you have to make them poke through, like about like that. Because what ends up happening is this top part ends up hitting the block, and it doesn't really let you slide in the wire properly. So once you slide it in good, and pull everything back, you have it out like this. Put it in, you're gonna hear a... See what I mean? Like, it's kind of annoying, dude. There you go. That clip there. They didn't want to. There you go. Bam. Boom. Now these wires are a little longer than OEM, so you will have more of a loop. If you look at the other side, we're all done on this side, and you have more of that loop, you know. And I have my 90s on top facing outwards just to get it away from the header. I'm gonna end up putting a little zip tie on this because it doesn't hit. You see the clearance, but the wire naturally wants to come down and touch it. So just to avoid that, I'll put a zip tie around it, clamp it like that. It'll never touch the header ever again. We should be cool. It's not gonna look awesome style points wise, but as far as like seat time and never melting wires ever again, 100%. Taylor wire, 8mm. Oh, here's the item number. Get on that. Look at that. Boom. Dude, it's like triple digits out here. Okay, so we finished up everything on the engine bay. We've installed the harness, we've installed the new wires, we added fresh oil. Pretty much everything on the engine bay is all set. Now, when I was at the track day, I was feeling some weird rubbing like right under me by like my shifter. So I suspected that my drive shaft may be running, and sure enough, I went under the car. And sure enough, is this enough lighting? Probably isn't. But can you guys see right there? There's a mark on the weight. There's kind of like a ring all the way around, especially on that sticker, you can see it. But that little shifter bracket that I ended up making, it's too close to the drive shaft, so I'm gonna have to cut that down. Let's drop the drive shaft and get those clearances checked out. Alright, if you guys remember in episode number that one, we ended up welding this in and it's barely touching by the spacer. So I'm gonna get a Dremel, not even a Dremel, I'm gonna get a grinder. I'm sure I can fit it in here, and then just cut across, get rid of that, and no more rubby boys.
The following day.
Yesterday, I got everything together, right? I bolted back the drive shaft and I was like, cool, let's go drive it. And then the car wouldn't idle. It was bad. So I was like, man, like everything always goes wrong for me, well, you know? And then I messaged one of my friends, like, I don't know what I could have done wrong. You know, everything's brand new. Everything's authentic parts. Like, what could I have done wrong? And he's like, maybe you installed the wiring harness backwards. So literally take off this harness and then 180 flip it and then test it. I honestly think it's gonna be this side because I noticed I had a lot of slack. I don't know. I'm gonna try flipping these and I'm gonna try to keep turning on the car on and off, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's just this that's flipped and that's why the car doesn't start. But if it ends up being that, awesome. I'm super glad it's nothing big, but let me do that real quick. All right, so I literally need to like Uno reverse. All right, and before I bolt any of this back up, I'm just gonna try to turn on the car now. So let's take it out of gear. Dude, that was it. I can't believe it. I wish I would have recorded yesterday what it sounded like. I'm just so excited that this works now, man. Now that we got the car all up and running, I'm gonna need to test drive it real quick, make sure everything's a-okay. Let's go drive the car. Kind of want to do something fun. All right, I've made it out to the middle of nowhere. We're in Mexico now. We're just gonna do a quick burnout. I'm gonna do it for the boys. I haven't done a burnout in this car, so we'll see how this goes. That probably wasn't the biggest burnout ever, but I don't have another set of tires. I didn't want to pop these. I can already see kind of low-key C cord, but anyways, thank you for watching today's video. Next video, I plan to get the car dyno tuned so we can finally get some like real set numbers on what the car is actually making. Fingers crossed that I get to as close as 300 as possible, but we'll find out. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends, man. Tell them they gotta see this content, man. Peace. Don't judge my burnout, all right? Yeah, it was weak. All right? It's hot outside. It's like 105, and those temps get hot, all right? Don't judge.